Hey everybody, we're back with R Squared Monday Morning Mayhem. This is C Squared, and we're going to be going over Week 4's picks.
Hey. What are you doing?
The show.
That's my show. What are you doing? Get out, shoot, get out of here. So sorry about that, everyone. Let's get right down to the pick. Hello and welcome back to R Square's Monday Morning Mayhem. My name is R Square and we're back for some Week 4 picks. Starting off with Thursday Night Football in Green Bay between the Lions and the Packers. It's going to be a good one. I'm taking the Packers in this one. It's going to be a very good game, but I think Jordan Love lives up to all the hype, the non-existent hype from Packers fans. But other people have said that he might be good. I said they would be good. And I was right so far. They're 2-1. I think they come out at home in the rivalry against Detroit and they win this one. Next up, we head to the home of the Jacksonville Jaguars, London, England, Wembley Stadium, and the Falcons go international to take them on. I think the Falcons are going to win this one. It's going to be a great game between the two teams. I wouldn't say it has much implication to the end of the season based on how these two teams are playing, but I think that it could, depending on how the rest of their seasons pan out. Not a great start for the Jaguars. The Falcons have looked pretty decent. I think that I'm taking Atlanta this one just based on the first few weeks of the season. I'm taking the Falcons and the Packers. 2 upsets to open up the pick session. That's a great start. Next up, we're in Highmark Stadium, Buffalo, for the opening of our 1 o'clock windows and possibly the game of the week. We have the Buffalo Bills against the Miami Dolphins. It's going to be a thriller. 2 top 10 teams going up against each other in this one. Miami just coming off that 70-point victory, 70-point game, 50-point victory over Denver, and Buffalo with another blowout against the Washington Commanders. I think it's going to be a good game here. I think Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and the Dolphins come up with this one. It's going to be a close game, though. I'm going to love watching it. It's going to be a fantastic game, actually, coming from Highmark Stadium at 1 o'clock. I'm taking the Fins over the Bills. Next up, we have the NFL's Pillow Fight of the Year. Goes to the Denver Broncos and the Chicago Bears. Number 31 and number 32 on my power rankings this week. It's a bad game. A very, very bad game. But based on what we've seen from Denver through the first 3 weeks, they're probably going to come out with a win this one. Won't be big, but it's going to be a win nonetheless. Good on you, Denver. Next up, we have Baltimore and Cleveland, also in the 1 o'clock window, live from Cleveland Brown territory, the Dog Pound. But we have Baltimore waltzing right in there. And surprisingly, I'm picking the upset here, Baltimore. I think Baltimore's going to win this one. I don't know why why Cleveland's predicted as favorites. Might be because of that good defensive performance against Tennessee. But in the end, if you shut down Derrick Henry, you shut down the Titans. That's all I'm going to say about that. But I think the Ravens are going to come up with a win here. Lamar Jackson is a very different threat than Derrick Henry. I think the Ravens come up with the W. Speak of the Titans, we're here in Nashville, Tennessee, Nissan Stadium. Bengals coming to Tennessee. Joe Burrow with a nice little rebound in the Super Bowl rematch between the Rams and the Bengals. They're not losing that Super Bowl. Bad memories, Bengals fans, bad memories. But anyway, the Bengals are going to win this one, bringing the record to 2-2 after a slow start. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase really hooked up a couple of times there. No touchdowns through the air on this one, but they definitely saw some improvement. I'm taking Cincinnati over Tennessee. Don't fail me, Bengals. The first time I'm picking you this season. Next up, we have the Rams and the Colts. Indianapolis comes in as the favorites. I'm not judging, but Indianapolis comes in on the favorites, and I think that's ridiculous. They can't come in as the favorites. Even though the Rams are off to a little bit of a slower start after losing against the Bengals, I think they still look like a top 10 team through their first 2 weeks. The third week was a little bit disappointing and a little bit depressing if you're a Rams fan, losing to the Bengals that you already beat in the biggest stage. But you guys had some love when you did win the Super Bowl, so yeah, no more for you. But I'm still picking the Rams in this one. I think Puka Nacua will have a nice one. I just love saying his name. I can't just say Puka or Nacua. It has to be Puka Nacua. But Matthew Stafford, Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua, it's a great team in general, young team. And I think they can take over Indianapolis, especially if they're missing Anthony Richardson. But they might not be. We'll see. Still at the 1 o'clock window here, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the New Orleans Saints, depending on where you're from. I'm picking wait a minute. Reel it back in. I'm taking Tampa Bay in this one. I know, shocking of me. I'm not a Bucs fan, if you couldn't tell. I don't like Tampa Bay. I'm wearing red. I can't say I'm not a Bucs fan, but I'm not a Bucs fan. I don't like the Bucs in general as a team, or an organization, or a head coaching unit, or a quarterback unit, or a team in general, really. The only thing that the Bucs have on them that's actually semi-decent is their defense. But without New Orleans, Derek Carr, Jameis Winston's probably going to get picked off like 4 or 5 times in this one. That's not the line. I'm not saying that he is. I say he might get picked off 4 or 5 times in this one. But in general, I do think that the Bucs are going to come over with this one. Even if Derek Carr does play, he's not going to be 100%. Taking Tampa Bay with the W. Next up, we have the Commanders and the Eagles, live from Philadelphia. I'm taking the Eagles by a decent amount here. I think Jalen Hurts gets the passing game going a little bit. A.J. Brown gets the ball a little more than he did in the first 3 weeks. And we see Philadelphia making a big turnaround of their season, even though they are 3-0. I think they go 4-0 against the Commanders. Next up, we have the Vikings and Panthers. 2 0-3 teams. I know it doesn't sound right. The Vikings 0-3. You might be thinking, of course the Vikings are going to lose again if you're a Vikings fan. Because they're going to be like, oh, the Vikings, they lost again. My team lost again? How do they keep blowing it? They keep trying to come back, but it doesn't work this year. It's because you already did it once, folks. But I'm taking Minnesota in this one nonetheless. I think they'll come up with a win. Please don't fail me. You guys failed me last week. Don't do it again. You're playing another 0-3 team. This should be easy. Very, very easy for you guys. Good luck on that one. Now we have the last and final game of our 1 o'clock window. We have the Steelers and the Texans. An interesting matchup to watch, but I'm taking Pittsburgh in this one. I think the Steelers have more defensive talent than the Texans, and the Texans, C.J. Stroud just won't be able to deal with that kind of defense. I'm taking Pittsburgh over Houston, even though Houston is coming off that big win. Now we open up our late window of football games. We have the Raiders and the Chargers. All right. Interesting. I think the Chargers are going to win this one. As you can tell, I'm not overly confident in picking the Chargers. I'm not overly confident. They lost a couple of big ones in the first 2 weeks, and then they barely held out against Minnesota. You can understand why I'm a little bit skeptical about them being able to finish games. Luckily, the only team that they beat is a team that has worse problems finishing games than they do to open the season, the Vikings. I think they do win against the Raiders. I think it might be a little more challenging than many people might think, but I'm in the end going to take the Chargers over the Raiders. And now in quote-unquote America's Game of the Week, we have the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick's defense against the Cowboys' defense and whoever the heck it is that's coaching them, because it sure shouldn't be Mike McCarthy. But nonetheless, I'm taking the Cowboys in this one. It's going to be close. Close-ish. It won't be that close, now that I rethink of it. Well, maybe, because then again, the Cowboys did just lose to the Cardinals. But anyway, I am taking the Cardinals over the Patriots. I think it's going to be decently... Oh, man, what a deal. I'm sorry, I just saw a notification pop down on the screen. Damian Lillard going to Milwaukee. The Bucks? Man, I might have to do a whole separate show on this, but I can't talk about that. I got to stay on subject. That's huge. Anyway, the Cowboys win that one. I have to get back on track. Okay, 49ers Cardinals, the last game of the late window. I'm taking the Niners by a pretty decent amount here over the Cardinals. I know the Cardinals came up with a shocking win against Dallas last week. I don't think it's going to happen 2 times in a row, especially not against that tough 49ers team. Sunday Night Football, the would-be good game, if not a Rod injured kind of game. But, you know, stuff happens in week 1, also known as no offensive line. But the Chiefs are going to come up with a win this one. Maybe we'll see Taylor Swift come visit the Chiefs in New Jersey this time. Not New York, even though they're the Jets, New Jersey. I am taking the Chiefs in this one by a pretty good amount here. Travis Kelce might catch a couple of touchdown passes from Patrick Mahomes. We haven't seen a great start to the year from Patrick, but it hasn't been terrible. The Chiefs haven't looked amazing, but they did come up pretty big against the Bears. But then again, they were the Bears. And then we have our last game of the window. We have Monday Night Football, the Seahawks and the Giants. That one's going to be interesting. Because, well, based on how the season's going, it's not going to be that interesting. It would have been pretty interesting last year, but the Giants, I don't think they have it in them to beat Seattle this one. Kenneth Walker's going to have a nice game. I think the Seahawks are going to come up and win this one, improve their record to 3-1. They're looking pretty good to open up the season. But anyway, since we have some little extra time over in this one, let's talk about the NBA and what craziness just happened. Damian Lillard to the Bucks. I can't even believe that. That's just crazy. Wow. I am just shocked by that. Out of all the teams that could have picked up Damian Lillard, it was the Bucks out of everyone. I just cannot believe that. It just shocks me to see them get that. Damian Lillard was so interesting to watch in Portland. He never really made some great things, but he did say he wanted to be on a winning team. He didn't go to the Miami Heat, sadly, but he did end up going to a winning team, the Milwaukee Bucks, who finished first in the Western Conference, the Eastern Conference, my bad. Eastern Conference last year. They did finish first in that one before being eliminated by the Miami Heat in the opening round. Maybe with that addition of Damian Lillard, I'm trying to get up the full trade here in a second so I can tell you guys about that, because that is huge. I am just in shock by that. Like, really? Like, that is just crazy to me. Like, absolutely crazy. Damian Lillard going to the Bucks is like huge. Man, I did not see this happening in this 10-minute span. This is crazy. Let me see. It is a 3-team deal. Damian Lillard is going to Milwaukee as a part of a 3-team deal that also includes the Phoenix Suns. Portland will receive Drew Holiday, star Phoenix Suns center DeAndre Ayton, and Toumani Camara. Milwaukee's 2029 unprotected first-round draft pick and unprotected Milwaukee swap rights in 2028 and 2030. Sources tell Wojnarowski, or Woj, as he's often called. The Suns will receive Portland star center Yusuf Nurkic, Milwaukee Bucks guard Grayson Allen, Nasir Little, and Keon Johnson. So the Bucks kind of get on the short end of the deal here. They dealt out both their point guard and their shooting guard, but they get Damian Lillard. I think Portland got it good, though. Drew Holiday and DeAndre Ayton. The Suns getting Yusuf Nurkic. The Suns really didn't feel like get a huge downgrade here. I think they might have gotten a little bit of an upgrade. Nurkic and Ayton are both very good centers. I think that's going to be a tight game there. Tight Western Conference race. I think the Suns will definitely still hold up there. But the Bucks definitely cementing themselves as possibly the best team in the Eastern Conference. This was an NFL video, but this is great. This is going into breaking news all of a sudden. I did not expect this at all. But that's huge. I cannot believe that. 3-team deal. That's crazy. That is crazy. Anyway, yeah, I did not see that coming. Him to the Bucks. Wow. I mean, I guess it could have been a possibility from the beginning, but I never really considered that as something that would happen. But that's huge. That is, like, really huge. Anyway, the MLB race is coming to an end. The playoff race. I'm already going over. Might as well just keep going. The MLB race has come to an end. The Marlins team are in the playoffs right now. They're coming close to clinch that NL wild card race is getting crazy in the last couple days. It ends on Sunday. We'll probably have an exclusive show on just the MLB. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on that one. But I know who I'm taking to win it all. This team right here. This team is going to make it. They're going to do it. I mean, I don't know what else could happen that they could lose. They're just so perfect this year. They look like the best team in baseball by far. I think it's going to be an easy win. But anyway, I think this wraps things up for me. We got the NFL picks in. The Damian Lillard trade, absolutely blockbuster crazy. Shocks me so much. And then I threw a little bit of MLB, maybe I'll do a show on the MLB later in the week. Maybe. Just maybe. Don't get your hopes up. We'll see. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. My name is R Square, and I'll see you next time. And don't forget to subscribe.